Hello and welcome back to Praying with Broken Hearts, Spirituality for Difficult Times. I'm Father Joseph and this is session 7, Praying Our Sadness. When I'm talking about sadness, I'm going to try to be a little precise about it. So when we're talking about sadness here, we're talking about something that's kind of in the moment. Perhaps you've just had an argument or some distressing news, and so you're crying or possibly just feeling that in your body. You're feeling sadness in your body. Maybe you've watched something on TV and it reminds you of the sadness and brokenness in the world, the injustice of so many things. Or maybe it's a gray, cloudy, rainy day and that's the kind of day that gets you down. I'm not talking about depression, which is a significant mental health event and is really best worked with a therapist or one's doctor or a psychologist to find the treatment plans and the resources that are most helpful. So sadness, momentary. It's in the moment. Depression is a significant mental health situation that requires much more assistance and guidance. Okay? So I'm a big fan of mental health resources and people being honest about their mental health experiences. So take it from me. Depression, work with a therapist, work with your doctor. Do what helps you to flourish as a human being. Sadness, that's something we all experience. Depression is mental health. Sadness is human experience. Sound good? Okay, so what do we do with sadness? One, I like to think of it as kind of an invitation back into ourselves, especially if you're someone who cries when you see something distressing or you've had a difficult moment or a difficult day. The tears are a reminder. You are a body and emotions all together. And that we're brought into ourselves, we're brought into the moment. And also that we're invited to a moment of truth. What is actually upsetting us? When I watch something distressing on TV, what is distressing me? What is causing me sadness when I watch this? Is it because I see something unjust happening in the world and it breaks my heart to see people behave that way? Is it an experience of my limitations and powerlessness that I wish I could just fly over there like Superman and solve the problem, but I can't? Or is it that I see the victims of injustice or cruelty and my heart breaks because I see their pain and my empathy brings me to them? In that moment of sadness, there is a lot of energy. There is a lot of truth that can be told. One of my favorite books of the Bible is Ecclesiastes. Now, if you've ever read it, you know that it is not a happy, clappy book. Ecclesiastes is far, far from it. But I find Ecclesiastes oddly refreshing, especially in our modern culture and social media where we're expected to present a happy, happy edifice all the time. Ecclesiastes sort of just says, you know what? Sometimes when we are experiencing our sadness, we're going to be more honest with ourselves and with each other. So perhaps that's a lens of looking at our sadness. How does it reveal a truth to us? What is it telling us about ourselves or about the world? Think carefully about how you experienced sadness as a young person. How did your family treat sadness? Were you allowed to cry? If you cried, what did people do? Did people kind of rally around you? Was it expected that everyone would help take care of you? Or were you possibly shamed for crying or experiencing sadness? Or were you expected to go off on your own and take care of it yourself? Were you invited to share your sadness? Were you asked to come and talk to a parental figure or a relative about what you were experiencing, or was it figure it out on your own? When you experience sadness, that's going to be in the background. That experience that you grew up with is going to inform how you experience sadness now and how you experience other people's sadness. Some people are very uncomfortable when they see someone else crying. Sometimes they reach out to help, or sometimes they're so nervous that they don't want to get close at all. How do you react to someone else's sadness? What's the truth that you're seeing about yourself in that moment? So how might one pray sadness? Well, the truth is, God is with us in our sadness just as much as God is with us in our joys. Our culture puts a premium on that happy facade. And yet God is with us when we are sad. God draws near to the brokenhearted, as we know in Scripture. God draws close to us in our sadness, and perhaps then we might be more aware of that truth. We might be aware that we share this sadness with so many other people in the world, and our empathy will grow. We will discover that human connection in sadness that perhaps joy and happiness can kind of obscure. And perhaps it will open up our hearts to love others more and to let others love us. When we are sad, when we experience sadness, when we cry, do we let other people come close? Do we let them bring the love of God to us and show it to us? That's another way to pray our sadness. Now, the next session, session 8, will deal with anger. Sadness and anger are very powerful emotions. So, be prepared. Be prepared for what you experienced in sadness and what you will experience when we talk about anger. These powerful emotions are part of what make us human. See you next time.